Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Black Desert Online. This is going to be my first impressions based off of the beta. I have to give a shout out right now to Sig Earther for getting me a key to this game. I finally got in, and I have to tell you, I had a really good time with it. There are some things that I didn't really vibe with, but on the whole, I really liked this game. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to talk about my experience with the game. Now, the first thing I want to comment about is the character creator. The tools are very powerful. I made a video previously discussing it, but I'll go over it again. It's you can completely mess up your character. You can have the craziest face. You can mess with all sorts of details. You can make their pupils different, and it's really in depth. I kind of took the safe route, and it's probably what I'm going to do with all of my characters going forward, is just using presets, because it's really easy to mess up your character. You can move their lips around in strange ways, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some crazy characters out there. But I went ahead and I rolled one of these dudes, this giant guy, and one of the things about the game that I really love, I have to get this out of the way first, is that each character has this very unique feel. Each class is very unique. Like when you play as him, you feel like this big lumbering giant. You know, you feel kind of clumsy, but you feel really powerful. He's even got this ability to jump, and it kind of does a stun, or at least it does a little bit of damage. And it's just really cool. And as soon as I got into the game, somebody made a comment about how huge my character was. I'm like, yeah, he's just a freaking beast. So I had a lot of fun playing as him. I had a sorceress I played with a little bit, not so much. Wasn't really feeling that character, but this guy I absolutely loved, just because he's so brutish. He reminds me of like a barbarian from EverQuest Online Adventures, or EverQuest, probably closer to like an ogre or something like that, because he's just beastly, man. The initial cutscene for the game is it's pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Legend of Zelda. It kind of feels like they're going for that kind of thing. You know, this very powerful artifact kind of story. It seems a little on the generic side, but you know, to be fair, I haven't gone too far into the beta, because I do plan on picking this up, and I didn't want to really get too far into it because, well, once the characters are wiped, it's kind of a bummer starting all over again. So I only got my character up to about level 10. I got a couple characters up to 10, and I noticed they had a wipe during the beta. At least I think they did, or something went terribly wrong, because I had to remake my characters. But as soon as I got into the game, I noticed that the graphics were absolutely phenomenal. This is a beautiful game, and I said in a previous video I didn't understand why people were comparing this to The Witcher 3. I can see that now. I can see why people were doing that now, because graphically it's quite similar, but not only that, the way the villagers go on about their business, the way everybody just kind of does their thing walking around, it does have that Witcher 3 vibe going for it. So I have to retract my my previous statement of why are people comparing this to The Witcher. It's an MMO. I can see why people are doing that now. Now, in terms of performance, I have a GTX 960 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 4 gigahertz 8-core AMD processor, and I was checking the frames on this in their indicator in the main menu, and it said I was getting about 24 frames. It didn't feel like it was chugging along. It feels like it was at least above 30, so I don't know if that was accurate, but this is definitely a game that's going to be a little taxing on your hardware. So I didn't go in, guys. I didn't mess around with anything and turn anything down or try to see if I could get it, well optimized or anything. I just started playing, and it didn't, it seemed like it was running pretty good to me. I'm sure there are a lot of things I can do to bump that number up, but I wasn't really worried about it. Now, as I stated, this is a beautiful game, and because it's a beautiful game, the atmosphere is really good. And not just because it's beautiful, but as I stated, all the villagers just going about their business, people walking along the roads, there's guards on patrol. You'll see like that guy just riding by smoking a pipe, and people going about their business. This really helps with the immersion. Okay, this is something that I've stated in the past that is incredibly important. Now, one thing that kind of threw me off is when you zoom into first person, it doesn't feel like a true first person. It feels like you just zoomed in, like it's magnified. Hopefully they'll tweak that and give you something that feels a little bit more like a real first person view, but this just kind of feels like you've zoomed in, if that makes sense to anybody. But that's the kind of vibe that I got from it. Now, being able to follow your quest with the push of a key is really nice, but at the same time, it gives you that hand holding that a lot of people don't like. If you're one of those people who you don't like a game holding your hand at all, you might not like this game, because they do that big time. At least in the beginning they do. There's these huge arcs of light with circles that tell you where to go. They're holding your hand in a huge way in this game. And it did get under my skin. It was kind of annoying, but I did like the map, the way the map functions, the fact that you can tag an area and automatically run there. So it doesn't feel like it's going to be monotonous. If you don't like having to run around and you just want to go AFK or something and run to your destination, you can do that. And I like that. You're sacrificing a little bit, you're having that hand holding kind of bullshit, but at the same time you're getting a lot of convenience. So I think it I think it weighs out pretty well. I do like it. Now, one of the things that caught my attention about this, just by reading and watching videos, is the fact that you can go into houses and it loads somebody's house pretty much instantaneously. From what I've seen in the beta, there was no loading at all. I was running all over the place and I didn't experience any load times. I was able to go into several different houses and it would just load the different setups. And it also appears that a lot of houses scattered about, you can make them into your house. It just kind of makes it an instance. And I thought it was really cool how he has to duck down in order to pass through the buildings. You can jump on the rooftops and stuff like that. So it really helps with immersion. And that's one of this game's strongest points, in my opinion, is that immersion factor. They really nailed that down. They got it right. All of the foliage out here, out in the field, is really cool. Now, when you walk into an area, it'll tell you, oh, this is a combat area, or you've entered a safe zone, or you're on a road kind of thing. Well, it doesn't say that you're on the road, but I think it says you left a combat area. That kind of thing just kind of gets on my nerves. It's not a big deal, but it's a little As you can see on the mini-map there are these circles where they're kind of guiding me along and holding my hand. This is something that's probably just going to be in the beginning. Now, they'll probably still have the circles for like quest objectives, but hopefully they don't hold your hand too much into the game, like when you start to get deep into it, because it breaks the immersion. When you see these circles and when you see these lines telling you where to go, the lines aren't that bad. It's the convenience factor that I spoke about. It lets you get there quickly, but these big beacons coming out of the ground saying, hey, come here, it's annoying. And if it is something that's through the game, it's not really a big deal, but I would rather be able to just toggle that off and just roam around the world. I'm looking for a game where I don't have my hand held. I don't want any cookie cutter, go here, go there, go here, go there, like World of Warcraft. I want to just go out into the world. I want to kill shit. I want to explore. I want to stumble upon quests. Hopefully that's something that this game will do further down the line, because to be honest with you guys, I didn't really get past the whole tutorial stage of the game. Now, in terms of combat and skills, I really like the way that the combat function. With this guy, as I said, he's just so brutish and beastly. He has this ability where he can pick up a creature and slam it into the ground. You feel like a total badass. But it's very jarring to me, because you can just roll through a lot of stuff. I did get into trouble a couple of times though and had to run away, so that was reassuring. I was kind of afraid that you'd just be able to go in and face roll over everything. You can't really do that. I don't know if those are some of the changes that they brought to the North American version of the game, but yeah, I found that I couldn't really face roll through things. That might change as I get more powerful. But all of the combat skills that you're using, it feels very natural. It looks like there's a lot of room for customizing the way you play your character, and the skill set, the skill tree itself, I was looking at it and it was a little overwhelming at first, and I didn't sit there and scrutinize each one of the abilities. I just wanted to get in and have fun and get a good first impressions. But once the game comes out, I'm going to be taking a look at the character skills more deeply and trying to figure out what I want to go with. But it looks like they have a lot on offer for you, so there's going to be a lot of different moves that you can pick, a lot of different skills and customization here. One of the things that people have expressed concern over, or discontent rather, is that the character classes, they're gender locked. That kind of shit, that does not bother me at all. I do not care if I'm playing as a female or a male, but it is something that, that has to be taken into consideration. If that's something that bothers you, you might not like this game. If you want to be a female giant, you can't do it. You know, if you want to be a male sorcerer, you can't do that. You know, I would guess that the wizard is going to be kind of the best choice for that, but they're probably going to play very differently, the sorceress and the wizard. But yeah, it doesn't really matter to me, guys. What I really wanted was to be able to play as the Blader or the Ninja, but they're not available in the North American release yet. Hopefully we get them shortly after it comes out because they look like a lot of fun. I am a huge fan of Onimusha, and being able to play as a Blader would just be, yeah, no, it'd just be awesome. Combat in this game, as I stated, it's so much fun. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but I loved the combat here. I love the fact that there's so many skills. It looks like you're really going to be able to build the character that you want to play as. You know, the combat is fast, it's furious, you feel like a total badass, and it's not something that I could see getting boring. You know, it's not like tapping cooldowns in World of Warcraft. This is something that feels more like an action game. And, you know, we've seen more of that with games. We're seeing that with games like Blade and Soul. You know, I think even Elder Scrolls kind of had something like that going on. So we've been seeing more of an action-oriented style in our MMOs, and it does feel refreshing. It's something that I welcome to the genre because, quite frankly, it's a genre that has become very stale, in my opinion. There is so much more, guys, that I have to learn about this game. When it does come out, you can expect a full review from me in detail about everything. It's going to take a while because I don't want to do a review. I don't want to rush it out. You know, this is just a first impressions to give you guys an idea of how I feel about the game. I am excited for the release. I had fun with it. I think that so far it's a great game, and I cannot wait to peel back all the different layers and see what this game has to offer. I want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section. Let me know if you played the game. What are your thoughts on it? Are you going to be picking it up? If you like this video, please remember to leave a like. If you're new here, I ask that you please subscribe. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.